So this was a pretty slow episode of Hunter x Hunter. This episode pretty much showed the aftermath of Miriam's death and the Chimera Ant battle. We had a chance to see Reina reunited with her mother. Welfin and Hina plan on looking for Gyro. We learned that Kite has been reincarnated and Killua plans on saving Gon. So let's start the review. So we start this episode off with an explanation from the narrator talking about what happened after Miriam died and the Chimera Ant battle was over. The Republic of East Gorto and NGL were taken over by peacekeepers, and essentially both countries no longer exist. The remaining citizens that survived the Chimera Ant battle were then classified as refugees. The country of Gortel was taken over by a new group of people. They decided to split up the wealth that the country had and divide it amongst the new rulers. The country called NGL was taken over by the Hunter Association, and they decided to make it into a nature reserve. After that scene, we move along to Welfin and Blaster. Welfin still looks old. Blaster has decided to live in NGL, and he confirmed to Welfin that he doesn't remember Gyro. Blaster said he remembers the environment of NGL, so he came to the conclusion that he was probably just a regular citizen of NGL in his former life. Shador also decided to stay in NGL, and like Welfin, she retains memories from her former life. So Hina and Bizef are in a van nearby telling Welfin to hurry up. Blaster and Welfin say goodbye to each other. Welfin says, "Try not to die until you're dead," one of Gyro's phrases. Then they go their separate ways. So moving along, we switch over to a scene with Bizef, Welfin, and Hina. They're inside the van driving along and they're talking, having a conversation. Hina is excited about looking for Gyro. Welfin is afraid that they might not make it through the port. They are headed to Meteor City to look for Gyro. Bizef assures Welfin that they will make it through the port because they are driving a government vehicle. Welfin believes that Gyro might be alive and is planning to start a country. We switch back over to a scene with Blaster and Shador. They're trying to enter this village. As they enter the villagers start to freak out. And I'm just like, who wouldn't freak out? If you saw a giant lobster and some ant-looking creature walking towards you, wouldn't you freak out? Blaster screams out to the villagers that he doesn't want to harm them. He doesn't want to cause any problems. He just wants help. He has a question that he wants to ask. So the villagers run off and hide in their homes. So one of the villagers comes out and she's like, "What do you want?" So we switch over to a scene with the woman crying in the cabin. If you guys remember, she's the mother of the kids that were killed by the Chimera Ant in episode 77. So Shador enters the cabin, scared and crying. We learn that Shador is actually the reincarnation of Reina, the woman's daughter. The mother instantly recognizes her daughter. She runs up to her. They're embracing each other. They're crying. It's like an emotional moment. Even the villagers are like, "Welcome back." Blaster tries to leave the village, but Reina convinces him to stay. So I'm assuming that he just stays there and they have dinner. We switch over to a phone conversation between Colt and Morel. Morel explains that the Chimera Ants have been classified as good magical beasts by politicians, so the remaining Chimera Ants have nothing to worry about. Colt reveals to Morel that Reina keeps calling herself Kite. That pretty much revealed that Kite has been reincarnated. So Morel thinks about it and he's like, "This is the reincarnation of Kite. I need to go tell Gon and Killua." So he runs over to them. We switch to a scene with Melaron in the hospital with Shoot. Shoot is in really bad shape. He's in a hospital bed covered in bandages. Then we move along to a hallway scene with Knuckle and Nove. They are waiting for Gon's doctor to come out to provide information on Gon's condition. The doctor comes out and he's basically confused. He's like, how could a 12-year-old boy become a grown man? He's confused about how Gon got in that condition, and overall he just looks confused and he doesn't know what to do. So Nova understands the doctor's position. He tells the doctor that he'll call a specialist in. He'll pay all of the expenses. He even goes as far to say that they might need to rebuild the entire hospital just to save Gon. So as we move along in the episode, we transition to a scene with Killua. He's sitting outside of Gon's room. He's just sitting down thinking about everything that happened. He's worried about Gon. I think that he's really disappointed in Gon because he really wanted to work with Gon to beat Pito. And I also think he feels like if he was there, maybe Gon wouldn't be in such terrible condition. Overall, I think that Killua feels like Gon left him out. They're supposed to be best friends, best buddies, but I think that Killua feels like Gon just left him behind. So Nove comes and explains to Killua that he's bringing in doctors and specialists to help Gon. Killua says that he is the one who will save Gon, but use the doctors to keep Gon alive until he gets back. In the last scene of the episode, we see a video of Netero resigning as chairman, and he gives the details about how he wants the next chairman to be selected. The next chairman will be selected selected by an election. All the hunters must vote. Netero wants all of the hunters to vote for the next chairman. The Zodiacs, the Hunters Association leaders, are put in charge of the voting process. And guess who finally decides to show their face? Jing. It was a pretty good episode overall. I liked it. It was a little slow. The two biggest points, in my opinion, were the fact that Kite has been reincarnated. I'm curious to see how strong, well, she is. I'm curious to see how strong she is, what she's capable of, and how much she remembers. 2, Jing has finally showed his face. I just want to mention that he's a terrible father. He was never there for Gon, but I'm interested to see him animated. I'm interested to see how he sounds. I'm interested to see what he's capable of in general. I like Killua's little character development scene. I really felt for him. I understood how he felt. And I'm excited to see how he heals Gon. If you read the manga, you already know, but I'm excited to see this part animated. But that's it, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Like always, subscribe to my channel. More videos every week. And that's it. See you guys next time.